How can we use math to know if the MicroStrategy Premium to Bitcoin is a good value or not, especially as MicroStrategy increases leverage? Fellow Wharton alum inquiring minds want to know. W95, woohoo. You were there before me. Excellent. So first of all, there's a couple of things we can do. And, a lot of people like to break down the debt, and we do in the fully diluted number of shares outstanding. But there's also a whole bunch of easier ways to do it too. So I'm going to look at 4 things that I kind of look at. One is I just updated it this morning. This is Satoshis per share. I will blow this up so I can read the exact number. But if you look at where we came from on the 11th of August, 2020, there was 22,311 Satoshis per share. And remember, the price of Bitcoin was super cheap back then. It was like 10 grand. And now we have 158,158,000. No, hang on a second. There's a problem in that number. There's a problem in that. It should be 158,158 Satoshis per share. There's something wrong with that other 200, or maybe it's overlapping a number. But now we have 158,000 Satoshis per share. A week ago, it was 153,000. The week before that, it was 148,000. The week before that, 145,000. But the point is, what you're doing here is you're getting more Satoshis per share as each time they buy more Bitcoin. And that is because they use the premium that they have in the stock to buy Bitcoin basically at a discount using their ATM shares. And I know the ATM is a buzzsaw. Basically, last week he sold, definitely Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, whichever days they were. I don't know with all the stuff going on this week. To be honest, I can't track the days. But the point is, he is going to buy again tomorrow. He bought last week. He'll announce it tomorrow. And this will also change. I'll update this model and share it as always in Patreon. The second way that I like to look at where we are is the NAV Premium. Right now, the NAV Premium is 1.9423, approximately, depending on which way you measure it, 238 or 2313, but it is below 2. And that typically, historically, means it could be an opportunity. Remember, we need Bitcoin to kick off, get back above 100K for this thing to get, build up a lot more excitement. Right now, there could be some tax selling into the end of the year. We're not sure. The volatility is lower than normal. Ever since the QQQ edition, the actual price has gone down, but so has the price of Bitcoin to some extent. But the premium is down too, down from about 2.02 to 1.92, which is a 5% haircut too. So things are not as high as they used to be. When we look at the NAV Premium chart, the third item, you can see here, we are below that 2 level. And you can see that we went as high as nearly 3.5x during the spike in November 11/11, right before 11/11 when they announced the 42 billion plan. That got a lot of people excited, but since then the excitement has worn off. But we will revert. Remember, most of the time so far this year, the NAV Premium is above 2, so we're under it right now. And if you want to get really fancy and really play the ARB, which I've been doing since 2020, is the ARB Cloud. So here, and I zoomed out, this is the daily chart. You can zoom into 15-minute chart, 1 hour, whatever, it works. And I made the cloud nice and broad. But that cloud there, the big gray shadow, bluey gray shadow, typically when you are above the cloud, that's when you flip your MicroStrategy into Bitcoin. That means MicroStrategy is heated. And when you are below the cloud, that's when you flip Bitcoin back into MicroStrategy. And we are right at that stage right now. Again, if history repeats. A lot of the time, we're above, some of the time we're below. And if you tighten up the cloud, you can get much more chop as well in there during the process. And the key thing here, the top band of this ARB Cloud is $429, which is where it should go to given the current price of Bitcoin. Remember, this model ties into the price of Bitcoin, ties into the number of Bitcoin that MicroStrategy hold, ties into the intrinsic value of the enterprise, all that type of stuff. And then you can measure it all those ways. So thank you, Brightside, for the question. There are the 4 things I look at. Remember, this is tricky. When the bear market hits and Bitcoin price goes down, this will become a little less ugly, and the NAV Premium is also will tank a lot more too. But in the meantime, I just to set the tone here for 1 second. My bull target in 2023 for MicroStrategy was $1,200. After the 10-for-1 split, that's $120, and we are 330 now. So we've come a long way, an awful long way in a short amount of time. And they are the markets. Markets don't go up all the time. They go up and they go down. And Christmas period always sucks. It's a happy time, but not for the markets.